Hello, how's it going, everyone? I'm Nicholas Guillermo, founder of RIPAC, and this is just a simplified version of my last video about how 100 people can save Standing Rock. And really, it would take about 30 minutes a week. Just 100 activists in North Dakota. They don't even have to be from North Dakota. And these activists can actively pursue a proactive approach to saving Standing Rock by creating legislation through the ballot initiative process. The people can create a constitutional amendment, and if simply enough people participate in the petitioning process where signatures are collected for the legislation to qualify for the ballot, then the voters of North Dakota can vote on an Aquifer Protection Act, a Water Protection Act, basically a law that can be created, a constitutional right for the people of North Dakota to preserve and protect their water at all costs, even if it means rejecting the billion-dollar pipeline that's coming through the state. I'm not sure what kind of benefits the state receives from this pipeline. Doesn't sound like they get any benefits, just a whole lot of risk. The arguments would be just tremendous in favor of protecting the water. After all, you need water to live. And in response to the critics who think that a piece of paper can't solve anything, you have to look at the reality that there's over 100 years of history of proven facts where pieces of paper have solved a lot of problems. And the voters have used the ballot initiative process to solve problems ourselves, be it piece of paper or not. It's actually more than that, because it's legislation that our whole system of law is created from, where authorities are granted power to use our consensual use of force against others who seek to violate our inherent rights, the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Right there, attacking water with a pipeline is threatening life. You can't have life without water. You can't have an economy without water. You can't really have much without water. So it seems paramount of importance to protect the water, which is why the Political Action Committee I formed, Representative Initiatives PAC, has it as a pinnacle and a top most important initiative program to unite people from the left and the right. And we have source model legislation archived at the site currently. It's in development. There's a lot of tools that will be implemented in the site that will help people engage themselves in this process, because it's one that requires participation. And, you know, slavery was ended with a constitutional amendment. A piece of paper ended slavery. It took a war as well, okay, but a constitutional amendment ended slavery. A piece of paper, North Dakota, an amendment for the state bank ended the state's debt to the Federal Reserve. And this is huge. You don't really hear this from the End the Fed movement. A lot of people aren't aware. Bill Still, a author, a movie producer, and video blogger out there, Bill Still, he created a movie called The Secret of Oz, and I recommend everyone watch this film. It's a great documentary about how the North Dakotan Revolution occurred about 100 years ago. It was the beginning of the progressive movement before that term was hijacked by the neoliberal left, the very antithesis to direct democracy. The neoliberal agenda, which is really about taking away your involvement and ability to pursue any direct representation in your state at all. They hijack the progressive term and they call themselves progressives like Hillary Clinton, and they're not, because a true progressive would be based on the origin of the progressive movement, which was a direct democracy movement. And that's what I'm working to reinvigorate. I want to see people understand this process, talk about the process with others, and create a decentralized movement where all of us can together spread the message of how ballot initiatives work, how the recall process can let us kick a politician office like Jack Dimblewit, or whatever his name is, who's the governor of North Dakota. He needs to be kicked out of office. And to do that, we need to use the recall process. The last one wasn't used since like 1930s. And it's due time the people form a citizenry, a protectorate, strong enough through our numbers to qualify recalls effortlessly, because it's possible with technology and decentralization. I could call up a couple people on my phone who could call up a couple more, who could also call up a couple more. And in just so many steps, so many stages, we could reach out to the millions of people needed in any state to qualify an initiative. North Dakota only requires about 26,000 signatures in a year's time period. That's broken down over 52 weeks to be just over 500 signatures a week. So 100 people getting just 5 signatures a week can qualify any ballot initiative. And I say, let's not stop there. Understanding the strategy, and you yourself can understand the strategy. You can do a little research. You can see more at rypac.us. You can go to Ballotpedia. I put the links at the bottom of the YouTube. You can do a little research, understand a little more. Please read some blogs and understand it, because when you understand this knowledge, you can reach out to others, and with a small group of completely dedicated people who'll just go out once a week to get the signatures or more, because really, ideally, we'd have you get more. We can qualify any and all propositions for the ballot. That's a recall for the governor and any other state elected officials who can be recalled, perhaps the sheriff who's allowing the police to violate the treaties that were protecting the Standing Rock reservations and their treaties with the people of the native tribes. And we could put recalls on the ballot for all of them. We really should just kick them out of office. We should at least qualify for the ballot, give the voters the choice, and show the voters that these people are seeking to violate your sanctity of life, your ability to protect life through water preservation protection. They need to be kicked out of office, and they need to be punished more than that. I mean, they really need to be held accountable for violating the treaties. And a ballot initiative can do that. A constitutional amendment can do that. A very strong constitutional right that we can use is the right to citizen grand jury. Very few states have that right. I believe North Dakota actually, I can check real quick. North Dakota has this citizen grand jury right. I should know this, but I'm doing a live check, okay? Basically, to have the right to citizen grand jury will allow the people to prosecute any corrupt officials, okay? Only 6 states have that. I know Kansas is one of them, New Mexico, where my father lives, my brother, and there's so many others, you know, and I'm learning as I go, just as you are learning. And let's see, citizen grand juries in North Dakota. Boom! North Dakota's century code, petition for citizen grand jury, oh my gosh, and it's probably such a small amount. So there is a section 29-10.1-02. It says it must be verified on information and belief by at least 3 of the petitioners. The formation of a grand jury in this chapter may not be invalidated should appear or be proven after the grand jury has been submitted that any of the petitioners were not qualified electors, or that the petition was not signed by the required number of qualified electors. That's pretty good. It may not be invalidated. Even if someone's not a qualified elector, they don't even have to be from North Dakota. That's really good. Okay, no grand jury may remain in session in excess of 10 calendar days unless the judge by written order filed with the clerk of court extends the session as may be necessary. Unless extended, the citizen grand jury must be discharged at the close of the 10th day of its session. Saturdays, legal holidays, and days in recess must be excluded in computing the duration of the initial or extended session. So there are laws in this in North Dakota. I really hope, I mean, seriously, that people spread this message. We need to find someone in North Dakota who can go ahead and request a grand jury. There is a process. It's called North Dakota Century Code, Chapter 29-10-1. It's one of the only 6 states. I knew it. I knew it. That is the key, my friends. In North Dakota, we can not only use the ballot proposition process to actually create a water protection act, but we can use it to create a citizen grand jury. The other states are Nebraska, Oklahoma, Nevada. Yeah, I mentioned New Mexico and Kansas. Okay, so 6 states. And this is so important. It looks like it's right there ready for us to implement. You know, it's time. The time is now. And in accordance with the Iroquois Nation philosophy, direct democracy is a process that creates peace. And it really is a process bound by law, bound by the Bill of Rights. Okay, you cannot violate others' rights with this process, despite the criticism of it. There's a lot of ignorance about it. And you don't hear alternative media outlets advocating for it, although I am a member of We Are Change and blogging for them, and I have mentioned it. You know, in my tagline, it has RIPAC.us mentioned. I'm going to definitely start using the We Are Change platform to get this information out there more, as I also build up the RIPAC development, because it's in development. It's been a long time in the coming, and it needs some new tools. One of the things I'm going to implement is an e-learning system to really train people how to be the most professional petitioners possible, how to really get the signatures, make sure they're valid. And there are some strategies. In fact, I have a web developer I could dial up anytime. He said for a couple $100, he'd be happy to take the data from any state and develop a software free to use that anyone could verify a signer's validity on the spot. We were using this in California last year. I'd been a professional petitioner for 10 years, kind of hanging up the hat on that now, working towards bringing this real solution to the people to use this process to our utmost ability. But I have so much knowledge of that process that I need to share it with people. So creating that e-learning system is crucial. It's going to come out on several YouTube videos, but I'm going to provide key insight privately to members of RIPAC who really want to invest their time into creating the solution with us. So, you know, you need to know how to get valid signatures. That's this lifestyle change that we all need. We all need to participate in this process. Just 100 people getting 5 signatures a week can qualify a constitutional amendment. And it's far less for a citizen grand jury. I think it's far less. Let me see if I can find out. The last one was regarding the Oklahoma City bombing. That was the last really famous case of it, but it's not utilized much. And these ballot initiative rights are not really utilized by the people. Every now and then a political action committee comes out and they form a committee to, you know, amongst themselves in a, you know, a small group, just work to qualify an initiative. Generally, sometimes they're for some kind of special interest. There's a lot of great citizens initiatives, of course. You know, I would only collect signatures on petitions I believed in. But ultimately, sometimes there are special interests. But it doesn't mean that the process itself is broken. It just means that it's being utilized by the same corrupt elite that are bribing politicians. So they invest some money and pay some petitioners to collect signatures on a petition that has misleading language. Doesn't mean the process is broken. It just means that the people need to participate in it more. And we need a resource to really get into depth with that process more. Ballotpedia is the best resource online right now. RIPAC is the runner-up. RIPAC is going to be the best resource aside from Ballotpedia when we really build out because of participation. Because simply the fact that we're going to engage people in discussion and debate with tools that allow us to arrive at consensus, like online software, voting tools, to show proportional representation of our members, to really show branching chains of debates and arguments, all predicated on facts with strict quorum rules, somewhat predicated off of parliamentary procedure, but more so predicated towards a new, just more open participatory democracy process where every single member can participate. And it has to be member organized, because ultimately, even to run any political campaign, there needs to be funding. There's often costs for having a review of the law to make sure that it's constitutional, that it's written correctly. It has to be written correctly. We need to pay lawyers until we get the volunteers. We need to pay for other ballot access costs. The cost for validation software is crucial. Often volunteers get really bad validity, meaning the signers they get to collect the signatures from, they often think they're registered to vote at addresses or old addresses, especially in cities. It's just, it really causes a lot of volunteer campaigns to fail. And so, you know, even just having the $200 to get the software to do spot checking right there on the cell phone, that's a crucial tool to be just a backup, you know, contingency plan all the time. We need that in every state we want to launch initiatives in. There's other great tools that we can implement, other software solutions that can come into play. There's so many tips and tricks I can share with you, again, from 10 years of being in that industry, that's why this project's moving forward. And I need this video to be shared. I need you to give it a thumbs up on YouTube to get a better ratings on the YouTube charts. I need you to connect with me ultimately, and I want to put out videos that are dialogue between us talking about this. I'm going to put out a video soon with my partner, Nick. He also goes by Nico, like myself. And He's from Michigan, but he's going out to the front lines in the DAPL protests, and he's going to be talking about the Iroquois model of direct democracy and how if the natives and the people really want to combine forces for saving the water, we got to use the same tools the politicians are using to destroy it, which is legislation. Because, you know, putting our bodies on the line and having war, it's really uncivilized compared to the power of the pen, which can stop standing armies. Okay, the pen is mightier than the sword. The ballot is more powerful than the bullet. It's time to use these rights so we don't lose them. Let's use the citizen grand jury. Let's use the constitutional amendment process. Let's get 100 people to collect 5 signatures a week. It's really feeble if you don't. Because seriously, if you live up in North Dakota and you don't get involved in this process, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. Guess what? It's not my water that's being destroyed. And I don't live in North Dakota. I can't be up there getting signatures right now. I'm going to be working in Arizona, working to save Oak Flat and our aquifers down there. I can only do so much, but it's really feeble if you know about the solution, you don't, and you choose not to act, or you give up hope, or you just believe that it's not going to work because everything else doesn't work. You're not open-minded if you're thinking that way. You have to be reliant on facts. There's 100 years of history that prove legislation is how everything changes. It's what makes the authorities act. It's what initiates the use of force against others. And if we need to use the use of force against a corrupt corporation that's about to destroy all water and threaten all life, that's just cause for the use of force. And we need to consent to that use of force because, hey, it's our lives on the line. And I just have a problem with protests because it's great that people are finding solidarity. They have a place to meet. They can talk. They can pray together. That's important. But it's not, at the end of the day, going to change the legislation. It's not going to remove the pipeline. Constitutional amendment would do that. So you need to be the one who decides. Do you want to engage me, talk with me directly, and have a conversation? Are you ready to let us have that conversation, start promoting this decentralized direct democracy? Because I'm ready. I'm ready and waiting. And it's just going to take 2, 3, 5, 10 of us at first, and then 20 of us and 100 of us, you know, anywhere from around the world talking about this. And then it will start to grow. It will start to grow naturally because people recognize the validity to what is being said by all of the RIPAC members. This isn't a project where it's just my voice going to bring the solutions to all of you. And it's not a project that requires you to donate money to RIPAC in order to accomplish the goals. At the end of the day, someone's going to need to sign that petition, being you, and someone's going to need to collect them, being you. Because if you're not going to collect them, who are you going to wait for to do that? Are you going to wait for politicians? That's not how they work. Are you going to wait for the corporations to do it? That's not going to work either. It's got to be ordinary people like yourself that participate. Ordinary and extraordinary people in that fact, because the ordinary person's going to vote yes on it. It's the extraordinary person who's going to collect the signatures, and I'm counting on you to be that extraordinary person. And if you're not yet, I am building out this RIPAC platform with a whole aspect towards personal self-development, towards self-improvement and confidence building, to make sure that you can be extraordinary, that you can encourage others, that you can motivate others and get people involved. Direct participation is what's going to make change. There's a Hopi prophecy, and I'll post the blog link at the bottom of this site, but it's that in coming into the 5th age that we're going into, we have to stop looking up to leaders and we need to become the leaders. So if you have faith in yourself and people power, and if you have faith in overcoming obstacles, like all of them in the past, if you know, look at history, there's been plenty of times a small group of dedicated people have made monumental change. If you have faith in historical facts and relevance, and if you have hope that we can make a better future together, then I need you to participate, and you need yourself to participate, and you need to be that leader that gets others to participate too. Because it's not going to be done with just a few of us. This needs to become a viral movement with lots of us getting involved. This is supposed to be a short video. It has some new insight about the citizen grand jury process. Please watch the other videos. Give them a thumbs up. You need to let the knowledge soak in. I need to just start definitely putting out more videos regularly, and that's what I'm going to do. You can count on that. So subscribe to this YouTube channel. Go to the website and read some blogs. And it will be very soon. It looks like within the month before the new year, we will have the site up and running with all its features in place. I'm crossing my fingers. I got a great web developer that's working on it, someone who's a partner, who we'll also work with to create ensured voting rights. Adam Caleb, a Follow My Vote. You definitely want to see what they're working on too. And thank you so much for watching again. I'm Nicholas Guillermo of RIPAC, Representative Initiatives PAC, the first, foremost, cooperatively run, decentralized political action committee for the people to start using the same tools the politicians have been using against us, against corruption in government. Now we're going to use those tools against the elites who control us, and we will be victorious. Thank you for watching.